The thing about me is if I have a problem, I'm going to collapse within myself. I don't want to talk to anyone right away. I don't want to vent to anyone. I'm going to fall to my knees in prayer. I'm going to cry out to God through a cathartic outlet of some sort. And then I'm going to read a book. And I've never had a book that a problem I've never had a problem that a book didn't solve. And this book made me forget that I had problems, because the people in here got some problems. You hear me? It was a mess, but in a good way. What I really appreciated most about this book was the constant juxtapositioning of like black and white, not race, but you have a family that has a lot of money. They're stable, two-parent household, four kids, and the kids are all back to back, like senior, junior, sophomore, freshman. And that was intentional. Everything about this family is planned. Everything about the way that they operate their life is planned. We find out that the mom grew up in this neighborhood, and the neighborhood prides itself on like perfection and order. She grew up there. Her parents were her grandparents were among the first people to join the community when it was first established. She goes to school, she meets her husband, they come back there and start their family. So they're very stable. They've been there for generations. And then compare this to the other family who's like in the main loop. You have a single mom and her daughter. The mom is an artist of some sort, doesn't really make consistent income, but she makes what she can to get by. Art is her full-time job, and then she has like always had odd jobs to kind of make it work. And to tell you, when I say there is like black and white, remember how I said the first family is like very, very stable. They've been there for years and years and years, generations and generations. This lady and her daughter have moved around over 16 times. The child is only a sophomore in high school. And so she's promised her daughter that this is going to be the last stop. But we open up the story. First of all, the story opens up. Somebody has burned down a house. And it was intentional. And they think that it's the daughter in one of the families. And so that is how the story starts. The story starts with the house being burned down and this other family, the single mom and her daughter, leaving the town. And as we get into so the story starts with like the end in mind, and then it kind of goes back to tell us what led up to the event. And so she had promised that they were going to stay, but then it's like in the beginning of the story, it's kind of apparent that they're going to leave. So you're basically finding out what it is that happened. And not only do they juxtapose these families, but the families end up being intermingled, because the daughter of the single mom and one of the sons of the other family end up being friends, and that friendship pulls her away from her home all the time because she's always at their house. And so she gets so immersed in their life. And then the mom of the well-to-do family is one of those people that like pretends that she likes social justice and helping people, but she's really just a control freak. And so she insists that the artist, the mom, starts to work for them. Then she's also in the background prying into this lady's life, because she's also a reporter. She's prying into this lady's life, trying to figure stuff out. All kind of stuff comes out. She finds out all these secrets. There's the artist does have some mystery about her, because there are things that she just doesn't talk about. Like her daughter doesn't know who her dad is or whatever happened. And all of these things end up being revealed over the course of the story. But when I tell y'all, the author did such a good job too of really making hypocrites of some of the characters, like seamlessly. Like they would be so opinionated about a particular topic, and then when they're faced with it on their own, their whole dynamic about that particular thing changes. And I just feel like the way that this story is written, the way that the characters are, the way that the characters are also in varying parts of life, like, and the way that the story is told by the original storyline, and all of these other past events are like beautifully woven into the story. This book deserves all the credit that it got. I don't know how I came across it, but I'm so glad that I did. Like I said, I read it. I forgot I had a problem. What problem? I done prayed about it. I done read a book, girl. I feel better. But anyway, I'm probably going to unpack this a little bit more, because I have so much to say about this book. But for now, this is all that I have the time to say. If you were thinking about reading a book this week, make it this one. Make it this one. Make it this one. This book was so good, I'm gonna read her other one too. She has another book that is a bestseller. It's called Everything I Never Told You. I don't know what it's about, but based on this book alone and the way that she wrote this, I want to know what that one's about. So I'm probably gonna read that one too at the end, by the end of this 12 weeks. So I think this is book number 3 that I've completed over the course of this upcoming 12 weeks. I'm trying to get through 8 books on my list. We will see how that goes. I'm going to tag the title in the caption.